And there's some amazing stories of children and their experiences of reincarnation in past lives. The one story in the New Path was of somebody sent to Swamiji of a young French girl and who was brought up to devout Catholic parents. And some of her first words when she first started speaking were rupee, Warda, and Bapu. And so her parents were, what are these words? They looked it up, and Warda is, of course, in India. And that's where Gandhi had his ashram. And Bapu was the name that people would affectionately call Gandhi. And so this little girl said, I was with Gandhi that life. And so when some friends brought a copy of the autobiography of a yogi to the parents of this young French girl, she saw the picture and said, that's Yogananda. He came to visit Gandhi at Warda. He was so beautiful. Then there's another story in the New Path where Yogananda tells Dr. Lewis, one of his disciples, first disciples in America, that his mother, who had passed a few years earlier, had been reborn. And he said, if you go to Boston, this area of Boston, go to this house, you'll find your mother there, and she's about 3 years old. And so he goes there, and sure enough, he sees his mother as this 3-year-old being reborn. And he said, she took a liking to me, and as if she knew me, and I could see in her little mannerisms my mother. So these are stories, of this tradition, of this path. But is there anything more universal that could maybe have helped raise that percentage of people believing in reincarnation? Well, one of the most extraordinary stories that I've heard was of this young boy named James Leininger. And when he was 2 years old, he started having these nightmares, night terrors. And he's in his bed, and he starts kind of kicking up towards the ceiling as if he's trying to get out of something. And he said, he's plane on fire, plane going down. And, his parents just thought, this is just a nightmare, it's going to pass, but it kept happening. And then during his waking hours, he would see a picture of a plane, or his mom would give him a plane. He said, look, there's a bomb at the bottom of that plane. He said, that's not a bomb, that's a drop tank. And he started knowing all the different things of airplanes, and starts continuing to have these nightmares. And his parents are getting worried. And somebody says, well, maybe he's having a past life. And his dad is like, no way. I don't believe in past lives. It's not true. It's not going to happen. Until eventually this just kept going on. And the dad just starts saying, so, you said you were a pilot. Well, where were you a pilot at? And he said, I was a pilot on the Natomas. So the father looks it up, and sure enough, it's an aircraft carrier. And he said, so what was the name of your plane? And he names it. And he started telling details about the plane, that the plane used to get flat tires. And people were saying, well, obviously you're telling your child this. And he said, we only let our child watch Barney. So there's no, we never talked about World War II or anything. And so, again, more of these facts and details just keep coming up. And eventually, the father is just doing all this research, trying to debunk this, but he can't, because more things keep coming up. And so, sure enough, he was able to let me back up. This little boy, his name was James. And so he started drawing these pictures of these planes and them going down and crashing. And he would sign them James III. And his mother eventually said, what is your name in a past life? He says, James. And, the mother said, no, that's your name now. He said, no, my name was James. And so, again, the father researched and found that there was an actual man named James Houston II, and he's calling himself James III. And sure enough, after all this research, they find some people that would have known James Houston from a past life. And they reunite this young boy with people from his past life. he goes up to them and say, this is your name, this is your name. Unbelievable. And so eventually, it was interesting because I wanted to see, okay, well, all these experiences happened to this young boy, James, before he was 6. So I kind of looked up, okay, where is this boy at now? He's in his 20s. Turns out he hardly remembers any of those experiences, right? And why does Master said that we don't remember our experiences? Kind of 2 main reasons. I'm sure he gave others, but this is what I found. He said the troubles and the heartaches we've had in the past would be too much for us to handle now, and we wouldn't have the will to go on. And he said, secondly, boredom of repetition. And so, yeah, while we might have glimpses of our past lives, it's being hidden to us so that we can just move on from where we are now. And so it is that when we call on the Lord, and we can really call with that yearning. You know, we need to get off the wheel of reincarnation, we have to have a yearning, a deep, deep yearning to just, as Master said, you know, to stop the play of this world. And when we can have that deep yearning, you know, God will come to us and liberate us. Master said, you should seek God now. Don't wait incarnations to find him. He can be known in this life, now. And the more quickly you know him, the better off you will be. You are foolish if you don't seek him, because there is no other way that you essentially will be satisfied. Having him, you shall have everything.